When you think about many startups that have failed, it's usually from founder problems, right? Like there's usually founder problems and stuff, but like the synergy between the both of you has been exceptional, and that's what we get to see from the outside.
Between the check-ins with Yamo and the fact that we used to have daily stand-ups every day, 9 a.m., it was so anxiety-inducing. I was so scared. Like I would come to meetings, I'll be so anxious, and I'll get it done, and then once it's done, I'm like, thank God.
For me, lots of how I feel about Bamboo, also like really exciting things about like the team that we built. Everybody was just really, really willing to just go above and beyond.
Yamo and I has been on this journey of finding those people. So when we hire people, and you were talking about me being very stern. I think it's just me really wanting people to, to take on the role that is in front of you.
There's a level of preparation I need to bring.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be the one that comes to a meeting, whether it's your team meeting or Richmond's meeting or whatever, unprepared.
I remember Richmond was going to fire me. It was my second month or my first month working at Bamboo.
I want us to go around and say one thing when you think back to those early days that you remember fondly. It can be a feeling, it can be an event, whatever. So just one thing. And I think
I remember Richmond was going to fire me. It was my second month or my first month working at Bamboo. And he showed me a deck, and I was like, this is the kind of deck we need to create. However, the person that created this was not good enough. That's why we didn't hire this person. And I'm looking like, this deck is better than what I can even do. And they didn't hire this person. It didn't work out. So I started having conversations. They were like, do I want to let someone else take on a higher role? And then I work on that person. I was like, yes, anything. Let them just fire me. Like, let me just be there. Let someone else be guiding me. Or do I want to take like 3 months and actually prove that I'm fit for this role? I think that's the toughest 3 months of my life. Like till date.
That's when you showed me shaky.
Like I was working on every single thing, both work that they've given me, and at this point now that you know that you're about to be fired, you cannot decline work and be like, nah, I cannot deliver that. So I was like, I need to figure out this thing, because this is like dream job situation. Like I'm coming from agency whereby like everything is just happening fast paced, and there's an opportunity to really build a very strong portfolio here. So I'm like, I cannot give up. But I was toiling day and night. I had almost all my friends like they come to my house like, okay, you work on this one, you work on this one, you work on this one.
Outsource it.
I was like, no way on earth will. I think I called it Project 28 or something. It was like on the 28th of September, I was supposed to get back to Richmond with the presentation that proved I was fit for the job. So eventually I sent it. I was waiting for feedback. Richmond didn't send me anything. I was like, let me go. Let me just.
No, so no. He's also going to presentation.
But eventually, I think like 3 months. So we agreed that I was going to take a salary reduction for a period. Then I worked my hardest. I was so glad. I think it was like November, December of that same year. Which one called me? I was like, I've actually proven to be decent and I did very well. So he's taking salary back. I was like, yes! I knew I was going to do this.
I think that's such an incredible story, because Jordan has gone on to build out one of the top agencies in Nigeria, in Africa, in fact, out of Africa, and he literally designed our current brand identity, top to bottom, and that's incredible.
what about you?
For me, I think back to like 2021 when like the pandemic was over, life was like a little bit easier. And in that period, I started joining the Tuesday management meetings. For that period, that 2021 period, between the check-ins with Yamo and the fact that we used to have daily stand-ups every day, 9 a.m., it was so anxiety-inducing. I was so scared. Like I would come to meetings, I'll be so anxious, and then I'll get it done, and then once it's done, I'm like, thank God.
Get tomorrow.
I think till tomorrow. That's why I hate Google Meets. Like I would never use Google Meets. Like Google Meet, I think of Google Meets and I just think of bad vibes. But then fast forward, another thing that was sort of like nice within that period was, like I said, the management meetings. We'll come on Tuesdays, we'll have our meetings, and then it'll be for hours. It was just nice, like just being part of those discussions where we're like making decisions that were very important to the business, and like seeing, also like getting to see Richmond, and like Richmond was so stern, so stern and all satisfied, perpetually unsatisfied.
He has not changed, bro. He has not changed.
Perpetually unsatisfied. Right, and then I think we were fundraising that as well, so like it was really intense. But here's the funny thing, right? After he finished grilling us for hours, we now got order food from foodies. Alright, coming. And I would always look forward to it just to have the burger and just be happy. I'd be like, okay, we go again next week.
Yeah.
And that period, I still think about it.
So I think mine is like a bunch of things that came together. So I remember the first time I met Yamo. And like the literal first conversation I had with Yamo after like, oh, I'm gonna go, like, because it was marketing, okay, I was like, do comms, let me focus on analytics. Like, I'm doing comms. First thing that comes out of Yamo's mouth, I hate working with creatives.
She said students are flaky.
Yamo was like,
But you cannot be in everybody.
no, but it taught, and then I remember I had to, because again, Yamo and Abi were the only two people that had like anything close to public equities experience, right? So I was writing the newsletters that time and I had to send it to Yamo. And Yamo just carried it by, yeah, this doesn't make sense. You can't say this. This makes no practical sense. A store can't do this and do this at the same time. I remember I was like, man, I need to learn this thing. I downloaded Yahoo Finance. I opened Market Watch. I started, there was no finance podcast, no newsletter. Every day I was reading it. And I remember one day Yamo came to meet me for investment advice. I said,
Oh wow, how the tables turn.
for her own personal portfolio. I said,
Who's my investment advisor? That's what I'm looking at him like.
So yeah, but like it was really, because at the beginning, but I think what was helpful was like I put, because like I was actually using the app, so I put money inside. I remember the first stock I bought, went home, I bought Amazon and Apple. I did it with Damiloju, bought Amazon and Apple, $50. I got home, the Amazon was 46. I turned on Bloomberg, I understood what they were saying. Like nobody needed to speak. They said they missed their earnings. I did not know what earnings was, but I understood it. So like, but it was like just, and I'm not a math guy. Like till today, I'm not a math guy. But like, if I don't understand it, the users will never understand it. And today, hearing users come, I don't write it today, but like hearing users come to say like, oh, we look forward to this thing. It helps us break this news down. Like it's very, very rewarding. That's for me. What about you?
Yeah, for me, it's a few things. First things first would be that the rush that comes from my peak period, right? when I was basically doing, when I was the only one on the desk and I was basically doing everything, compliance in the morning, settlements in the afternoon, and treasury at night and stuff. That rush that comes with it, that's overwhelming sense of responsibility that Richmond and Yamu, they generally do not need to call me for me to know that my job is crucial to how the company works, right? That in fact, if they call me, it means that something is wrong, right? So every day we go with peace. Every day that there is no customer is shouting on social media or stuff like that is not happening. That felt real good for me. So that rush, that sense of responsibility for them for me was very, very good.
I feel like from when we first started, I think it felt very exciting. Like I feel like when I think about like a lot about like everything was exciting. Like I remember people would give us money and I would literally be like, you guys, people are actually giving us money. Like you guys, people actually trust us. Like it felt really, really, really exciting. Like we would think about things and we'll try things and stuff would be bad, but like everything just felt like promising. And it was just like so much. Like I mentioned, like the first time a user gave us $1 million, the first time, for me, lots of how I feel about Bamboo, also like really exciting things about like the team that we built in terms of like everybody was, like Fumi mentioned, just really, really willing to just go above and beyond. So for me, I remember clearly like for Jennifer, the first like week that I went through that I didn't have to read, like I would still like check the customer experience emails, but I remember clearly that first week where like I would check and like okay, one day I'll check, I don't have anything to say and I'll just read it and move on, check again, I don't have anything to say, I'll read it and move on, check again, and it was like I remember just taking like, and it was like a whole week, and I remember just being so like I can just take this off like Jennifer, so like when Jennifer joined customer experience team, I just remember thinking, I can just take this thing off my plate, because before, for context, I used to check all the customer experience messages and I'm very particular about like literally Twitter, email, I like tone of voice, and I'm so particular about it. I just hate like little stuff like when people use would and will different wrongly. I think even like the way I am as like a user, as a thing, I'm like I find like I think it's so like customer experience is so important. So even just tone of voice, and I just remember feeling, honestly speaking, I was so happy Like, I was just overjoyed, like, okay, we've gotten it right. We didn't say something strange. All our grammar was correct. I think I even messaged Jennifer to be like, you don't know how like, like, you actually literally made my life easier. And I think that about like the team. Like, it's probably the thing I'm even like still happy about today. Like, I even randomly, I should probably tell you guys more actually. Because I randomly message Richmond sometimes, like, wow, Richmond, we actually have such a great team. In like random management meeting, like it will just be a random thing, like someone will say something like, even coined that like hopefully by the time people are watching this video we've launched. It's so it's so exciting me. Like every time, like when I talk to my family about, like when I tell my family, oh, we're launching Coin, and I mentioned, I was like, oh, it's AB that works in our team that like totally ideated it and like gingered us to do X, Y, and Z. And I think about all the things that like someone like Ugo has like gingered us to do. Like I told Ugo recently that he needs to write a marketing thing. And I told him that he needs to write a marketing, like this is all the things that we've done, because like there's not enough of an appreciation, just like how much stuff we do. And like on a day-to-day, like everyone in the team is just like doing like really cool stuff and like trying out really, really cool things. And for me, it's just being able to like work and build this team where people also feel like they can, that they feel like they can, their opinion matters, they can do what they want to do, quite frankly, within reason. And yeah, that like makes, yeah, it still makes me happy. Like every day something, honestly speaking, also every day something happens in Bamboo that like I have no idea about, or like I had no input in. I feel so excited. Like Ugo even messaged me the other day. He saw some Instagram posts and he was so happy. I think Dodo put Instagram post. And he was so happy. He was like, he didn't even know anything about this post, so he just saw it and he was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's very, very similar to Yamo. One thing that's always kept me feeling good was as our team came together. It's the journey of the team. I remember when we talked about AB being this. I remember when you became head of marketing. And I know that to be able to build anything, you need people, you need the right people. And Yamo has been on this journey of finding those people. So when we hire people and you were talking about me being very stern, I think it's just me really wanting people to, to take on the role that is in front of you. Like, and every time someone did that, I felt safer and more, I believed more that we could succeed when we had filled important roles. I remember when we also had other members of the team like George join. I was so excited and things started moving well for our product development process. And that's through the journey, through the last 5 years has given me joy. And I think I agree, Yamo. We have a very, very phenomenal team. And something that also has kept me very, very sane is being able to build Bamboo with Yamo. I think that has been one of the most perfect things that has worked out for why Bamboo is where it is today. I don't think that, to have someone that can think with you and also help you. Like I was talking about the meeting with Michael Saib where I said, I'm going to this meeting, but just know that nothing valuable is coming from my brain today. And had to be able to step in, and then many times Yamo has had to step in for my shortcomings in many ways, right? The reason the company is so, the culture of our company is so good, I think it's very good. And I think it really emphasizes people and puts people in front of opportunities and let them win. And also very obsessive to some degree about their welfare. It's not from me. Let me be honest. It's because of Yamo. I think so those are I think that is for me the biggest thing. The second biggest thing I think for me is as I saw people I knew actually start using Bamboo. I think when I saw my family started using it, I was like, okay, great. And they too became proponents of Bamboo, and then started making their friends. My dad would make his friends, download the app. And then people that I would look up to, for example, the CEOs of different companies, I could, see the names, my background we used to look at. So that was also very reassuring that, okay, this is interesting. And I think it's very important. YCC says you should make things that people want. I think Bamboo is something that people want, and I'm excited for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think on that point, it's also something I think Ibi and I have spoken about. Ibi probably has that same experience because talk to users a lot. It's just quite interesting when you actually see people. I know it's all the time, but like people actually use this app and like they actually give us money, and like it's just like. I mean, now we're like a real company. We can shoot like fancy videos and stuff. But like when we first launched, this was how the office looked.
Yeah.
This was the office.
This was the office. Was this one table?
Yeah, that looked exactly like this.
And like people were actually giving us money
With the
And, like,
whiteboard?
Yeah,
With the whiteboard.
and I'm still constantly like amazed and like constantly grateful that for our users and like fact they trust us. And it's also like nice when you hear stories. So that's one of the things, that good thing about having users having your number is that they actually reach out and say, oh, this is going well, and you know they've actually made money. It's so nice when you look and see, okay, people have actually made money. People have withdrawn and used the money for something good. People have used, you know, have been able to hedge. I think like our users.
I told you about the customer that showed me the Benz. He snapped the Benz and he said, "This is Bamboo's money."
Oh.
He bought a Benz for his wife and was like, "This is Bamboo's money." This was in 2021 or 2020
Oh, wow.
thereabouts. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm sure if he watches, he would know that. Snapped the Benz and he was like, "This is Bamboo's money." Like he got this from Bamboo for his wife.
So like we're actually doing this stuff. Like if you think about just stuff that just would never have occurred, like something like Nvidia now. But normally Nigerians are just been hearing it.
Yeah.
Like nice, so news, so mad, oh. But now there's actually human beings. Good. They invested and made Nvidia money and Intel the rest of us. But
Also, one thing I like to add is like communication at Bamboo, because all through my career, because I was a designer, I mean, I still am, I always used to hear the feedback. I never saw people write it. So Bamboo was the first place I saw people really articulate feedback that felt like, and you can tell when someone is not saying, "I don't just like it." Like they're like, "I don't like it, comma. Here is why I don't like it, comma. Here is why," like exactly who has done it better. It was from Richmond I saw the first free trade deck. Like some of the decks that I've seen in my life were usually from Richmond. Like typically it's the designer that has like best archive of like very good references. But it will appear that if I was going to do something, I'm like, he probably already knows my reference. So that's why just copy what it is and just like send it to him. So like that kind of immaculate communication where they're highlighting everything. Like till today I still do something like, if Richmond was going to respond to this, like what will he do? Like he'll just highlight go page by page. I don't like this, you should do this. I don't like this, you should do this. I like this, you should keep it. Like
With those
that kind of-
screenshots and
Yeah,
links.
yeah. I like screenshots.
Here is
Exactly.
Cloud up.
It was
That's very true though,
It's
because
really,
like
really
even
fun.
just working with Richmond and Yamu, like the standard as from the standard we were working at in 2019 when I joined and where we are at now and the way we all work now, it's just entirely different. Like the expectations, the what the sense of responsibility, like it's just entirely different. I've grown from being in the bank and you think you understand what responsibilities are to what the responsibilities in Bamboo and the expectations, more especially from Richmond and Yamu. Yamu, I think we've already we've talked a lot about.
Let's not be
and
like-
those expectations can be very high. But it's very true, right? Like it's very true, more especially at that beginning level, at that beginning stage. Not just even at that stage, like even subsequently, like just the expectation just means that you must stretch yourself. They don't allow you to basically just say it's enough. Like you've done, like this is just good enough.
There's no
nothing
excuse.
like-
There's no
Exactly.
excuse that's ever good enough.
Exactly. There's nothing like it's good enough. You have to deliver it.
And then you
right?
also need to know how to argue, because you need to be convinced in what you
What
think
you're
is
doing.
correct to the point where you can articulate it back to someone like Richmond. I remember we're trying to hire someone. Richmond was like, "Nah, I can't hire that guy. He can't argue with me." I was trying.
Sorry, and I think
Sorry, let me just
yeah.
say, it was a criteria because you need to believe something and articulate it well enough that you win Richmond. I mean, if you lose, you still do the work. If you win, you still do the work. but you need to really articulate, and you can tell you, like, okay, give me 3 days, I'll think about this. I know 3 days you're working on it to give you more reasons to believe you. So it
Yeah.
just felt like you really need to be very strong in your way, that the way you
Yeah.
think and how you articulate it back to someone that's going to approve it.
I wanted to add to this final points to give the two of you credits, because I do think it's that Bamboo is that work culture where if you can make a strong enough case It might take a while.
That's how we shot the commercial.
Like I've known, like we'll not say, but there are many people that have driven to Richmond's house in the night to make their
One of them.
like Richmond, we need to. But it's always that thing where
You know I love making case for this.
No, but it's true. There was always that sense that that if you can make like he said no now, let me tighten the case again.
Yeah,
he said no, and you can be like why, and he'll be like this is like okay, let me go back and let me figure out a way to
Like it will almost get to the point where it feels like Richmond is an investor.
like exactly what Jordan said. Like there's a level of preparation I need to bring.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be the one that comes to a meeting, whether it's your team meeting or Richmond's meeting or whatever, and you're unprepared. Like Richmond will flog you.
Yeah, it makes you a thorough person.
Yeah. You'll be like,
So
okay, this is a good idea, but
What are all the potential
something,
questions?
yes! What I want
Answer all of
there's
them.
something I'm missing, in this idea. You call people that have nothing to do with the idea. So I have this idea. What do you think? Everybody be like, okay, so here's what I think. Okay, then you call Jennifer. So this is my idea.
Yeah. But I feel like most like that's actually how I feel about most things on team. That's actually funny. Because my whole thing on team is that like if you hire to do a job, most people here know more about their job than you. I think something I think about, like, of course you know more than design, than like they don't know. Of course you know more about marketing. So I'm always just like, okay, let me figure it out. Okay, I understand. That's what I'm like, okay. Okay, like I get it now. And I feel like Ugo was the first person I was like,
I think I learned it from product management, because in product management, this thing where you have to ask 5 whys and just keep going until you get to the bottom of stuff. So I'm very comfortable with people asking me why, explain myself, and I think it's that thing about because before you do something, you should have thought it through and know why you're doing it, and get to the real bottom of it.
I think for us it also helped us like understand stuff. Like I think more people here probably understand like marketing stuff and like understand settlement or like compliance. Everyone sort of has at least a vague, basic enough understanding of how other stuff works. So I think it also helps us like ideate as well. So if I think of like if something like coins, for example, where if AB just used to do only settlement and just focus only on settlement, that's something that probably wouldn't even have been thinking, wouldn't have been on your radar. You want as long as customers get their money on time, they get their money. But because everyone, like Ugo is ideating like a bunch of things right now, and that again is because lots of people are doing different things and understanding how the whole business works. So everyone is now in it to win it. Should we say?
But by default, why? Yes, it's already rolling down. Yes, it's rolling down.
Do you know what the funny thing is, do you know what this question always make you think about? You guys might lose your mind in like Richmond and I's one-on-ones.
You just go why?
No, because someone was like, huh? Like, what are you even saying? So you're not listening to me. They're just like, hold on. Both go on mute. We'll come back. Like, what are you talking about? No. Listen. I'm sure now pause. Yeah, man. So what I want from you right now is...
No, there's way you do it. So what?
Like, it's like
Right,
hours.
the synergy between the both of you, right? Like it's something that we from the outside we just see it as like being very great. Like it seems like the both of you know your weak points and you support each other in that way, and like you get the both of you like. So when you think about many startups that have failed, it's usually from founder problems, right? Like there's usually founder problems and stuff, but like the synergy between the both of you has been exceptional, and that's what we get to see from the outside.
I think it has improved over the years.
So much.
At the beginning, it was, sometimes it can be destructive when you're doing that table tennis of back and forth.
Yeah.
But then as we've grown, we've learned
It's helpful.
how to communicate, how to really focus on the thing that matters.
And a random thing is we randomly just also never have like bad patches like at the same time, which is so helpful. So somebody can be in like there's some days when like Richmond's like one-on-one, Richmond and I was one-on-one. Like I remember our one-on-one used to be like 10 a.m. I'm sure I just woke up and there was one day when I was just in the worst mood. And Richmond just changed the calendar invite. I'm not talking to you again in the morning. And so now I think it's at noon. And Richmond just doesn't speak to me. It's when I just say, there are just some calls. I just know Richmond is not. It's just about to just stress my life. And there's just a look he just has as he gets on the call. I just know like he's about to be unreasonable. And so it just helps that I also recognize that. So I know that it doesn't matter what I say So my own aim for that call is let the call be quick. So that I just know that we'll talk in there. I was like, okay, let's talk about this one later. Let's talk about this one later. And then we just, because I think that's what we like messed up. If like both of us both get on the call on the same day, we're like having a bad mood. Like, it's only happened like once, and that was a shit show. I think we spoke for like 3 days or something. Because it's just like, I don't remember, because like both of us are just unreasonable at the same time. So there's nobody that's like having like this adult discussion because we'll just both be like no. Like, you know when sometimes, like, you know that Richmond thing when he's just like nah.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he doesn't even mean the no. And then both of us are doing that. I'm just like, yeah, like that's what you make. I don't even want to talk to you again. And Richard is just like, so normally Richard just like, okay, let's talk later. But then him too, like, hey, don't even talk.
Bamboo has revolutionized buying stocks, fintech, investing, fixed income in Nigeria, and by extension, Africa.
I want Bamboo to have peace. I want Bamboo to have pride. I want Bamboo to like, you know what you're doing, right? There's a clear purpose, and there's evidence of people that your product has made a difference in their lives. So I want pride in that, and then just excitement about, you know, how much more Bamboo will do. I think it's just been a pace setter for the industry, both in how beautiful the product is, how functional it is. Take pride in that, and for the next 5 years, like, keep building on that momentum.